So we're picking this up from where we left off previously, and of course, because we've jumped horses mid-race again, this needs a new intro. So yeah, I'm doing a little floating shelf, single shelf into somebody's kitchen. Is going into a sort of corner, so it's supported at one end, and then floating out across the wall. Normally, if you're thinking about floating shelves, you'd be looking at doing sort of threaded rod stud work and a chemical anchor, some kind of polyester resin into the wall. The problem with this is that the house is Victorian, so as they mostly are around here. It's very easy if you're drilling, whacking a 14mm hole into old brickwork. Very easy for the drill to wander and for the threaded rod to go sort of out of true. So what I'm doing instead, I haven't used this before actually, but these little Hafele, Hayfeely brackets, floating shelf brackets. They have sort of adjustment built into them, so you can adjust these sort of uppy, downy, and the side to side, technical terms. And you're joining me as ever part way through the process. I've had the sheet material, it's oak veneered MDF. I've had that cut to size. I've routed out the housings for the brackets, and I've lipped the edges in a 2mm thick veneer. And I'm just about to take the clamps off now, and we can plane those back, trim those edges back, and then we can start thinking about getting a finish on it. Now, in truth, I had to order the brackets, so I needed to crack on with the shelf while I was waiting for them to arrive. So I've had to route the housings into the shelf, working off the technical drawings. Always fun and stress-free. And then I've glued the two boards together in the usual way. With the boards unclamped, I can trim the shelf to size, cleaning up the front and side edges with the track saw, ready to apply the veneer. I'm taping off the face of the boards to minimise the effect of any glue squeeze, then clamping and taping the lipping carefully in place. I'm planing one edge of the long piece of lipping to get a good clean finish, then gluing and clamping in the usual way, making the clean edge flush with the base of the shelf. And once set and released from all the clamps and tape, I can carefully plane back the proud top edge of the lipping, finishing off with a piece of sandpaper on a block of wood. And finally I can trim the ends of the lipping with the track saw and finish off with the sanding block. So that was the shelf all done. The housings for the brackets had been routed out and they fitted really well. The lipping was all completed. The brackets simply screwed to the wall. I could apply a coat of oil once the shelf was fitted, and I could get the job done that afternoon, or at least so I thought. I loaded up the van with all the bits and pieces I needed and headed out to the client's home. So I'm on site where I'm supposed to be fitting this floating shelf. Get in here. It's a very hollow sounding wall. Drilled a couple of holes, the drill goes all the way through. And look at this. There's literally, how long is that blade? 5 inches? 5 inches of nothing behind that wall. So yeah, I think we're going to have a rethink about this. Possibly put this little shelf on brackets or something, but it's not going to be a floating shelf, that's for sure. Oh dear. So reload the van, get back to the workshop, try and figure out what kind of brackets might suit. Not painted metal, apparently. Stainless steel, perhaps, maybe oak to blend in with the rest of the shelf. Be sure to join me in the next episode and we'll see how this all pans out.